that robots at some point could become self-aware. That is the tipping point. Robots today do not know they are robots. Robots today have no idea that they are robots. They may have that awareness by the end of this century. At that point, they could become dangerous when machines become self-aware.
But there is a dimension of intelligence which we call as chitta, or in modern terminology, loosely, it can be called as consciousness. Not being conscious as you and me are, this is wakefulness, this is not consciousness. So, this dimension of intelligence has no memory in it. Where there is no memory, there are no boundaries to it. You will not do that with a robot. Do what you want.
Mr. Kaku, I have also heard you say things about challenges and threats of new technologies, the threats of drones or new technologies or biotechnologies. This is an irreversible process. We already have battle robots. But what do you think? The technologies of the future, will the humanity use them for bad, like the nuclear bomb, or for good?
Well, any technology is a double-edged sword. Any technology, one side of the sword, can cut against disease, ignorance, poverty, illness. The other side of the sword can cut against people as well. And so we have to make sure that we control this powerful technology. The three drivers of wealth generation in the near future will be: 1, artificial intelligence; 2, biotechnology; and 3, nanotechnology. A combination of these three technologies will generate enormous wealth and prosperity in the future. But let's not be naive. There's also the problem of nuclear proliferation, global warming, and the possibility of germ warfare. And so these are three technologies that could negatively impact on humanity. Not to mention that we have to worry about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, I think, will become an industry bigger than the automobile industry of today. I repeat, I think the robotics industry will eventually become bigger than the automobile industry of today, because your automobile will become a robot. You will talk to your car, you will argue with your car will park itself and monitor itself. Your car will become a robot. But the danger is that robots at some point could become self-aware. That is the tipping point. Robots today do not know they are robots. Robots today have no idea that they are robots. They may have that awareness by the end of this century. At that point, they could become dangerous when machines become self-aware. But I think that's not going to happen till the end of this century. And meanwhile, the robotics industry will become bigger than the automobile industry of today.
А вот мне еще интересно,
Another interesting thing is that today we are living in a hyper-modern world, but we use coal and fossil fuels for heating our homes. And we don't have any microcomputers on the tips of our fingers, so I have to charge my iPhone every night. From which point there will be a qualitative change in energy production.
Good afternoon, everyone. There are two dimensions to this, which I think we're not differentiating here. One is intellect, another is intelligence. Intellect can only function when there is an accumulated memory. Why a child in the village looks a little dumb compared to a city slick boy is simply because he has more memory and information. But if you leave them in real-life situations, the rural boy may come out much smarter, where a certain intelligence is needed, where information is not needed. So essentially, human intellect functions from memory. And everything that we are considering or labeling as technology is essentially memory-based. Our imagination is memory-based. Memory means recorded past, something that we already know, how we can extrapolate into a different format. Essentially the same thing, finding expressions in permutations and combinations, but nothing new happening. Nothing new can happen from that. It looks new because it's a new presentation. It's a new format. Well, in terms of day-to-day life, it's absolutely new, of course. So technologically, whatever we do will lead us to a space where right now human societies have invested heavily. This I must blame it on the European default, because pre-Renaissance, when these societies were hugely restricted by dogmatic religious belief systems, when a few people broke through, that is, they decided to think for themselves, they refused to go by the book or the clergy, and they wanted to think for themselves, and when they thought for themselves, the amount of freedom that it gave them, they thought this is liberation. Because of this, from worshipping God to worshipping human thought became the mode since then. We call this scientific development. But essentially, human beings have started worshipping their own thought. What I think is more important than my very existence. Because of this, every capability that we get, we have been using it against ourselves and every other life, simply because our thought is again a manifestation of the memory that we carry. If you allow me a few minutes, in the Eastern cultures, in yogic culture, we look at human mind as 16 parts. These 16 parts can be categorized as 4 basic segments. It's called buddhi, I'm using the Indian terminology, I'll come to English. Buddhi, ahankara, manas and chitta. What this means is, buddhi means the intellect. Intellect, if we have to use an analogy, it is a knife. All of you, I'm sure, you would prefer to have a sharp intellect rather than a dull one. Yes? Hello? You must choose, I'm going to bless you. Sharp intellect or a dull one? Sharp. So essentially, it is a cutting instrument. So we have a knife in our hand which gave us a certain access to knowledge because we could dissect whatever we want. This is the nature of human intellect. Whatever it is given to it, it will dissect and look at it. Everything is dissected, including human nature. But by dissection, you will know certain things. If I dissect you, I will know where your heart is located, where your liver, kidney and spleen is located and what's its condition. But I will not know you by any sense. When I say you, I am not talking about your thoughts, your emotions, your ideologies, that also can be known by dissection. We call this psychoanalysis, that's also dissection. But you will not know the nature of this life by dissection. There is no way to know that. So you're using a knife to stitch. You will leave life in tatters. So knife is useful for cutting, So this knife of intellect is a powerful instrument of survival, not an instrument to know something that is beyond your present level of perception. By dissection, you know certain things, but it is not beyond your present dimension of perception. Because this knife is useless without the bank of memory that you already have. What connects you to this bank of memory, which we call as manas, which is a silo of memory, is a dimension called ahankara, which literally means identity. This is where misuse of technology is happening because of our identities. The moment you identify yourself with something, your intellect will ceaselessly work towards protecting that identity, either with our species or with our gender or with our nationality or race, religion, caste, creed, 1,000 other ways. Whatever is the nature of your identity, that is how your intellect will function. That is one care we have not taken in our education systems, in raising of our children. What is the identity? Because we need small identities to fight other people. We have been engaged with this forever. Anyway, leaving that aside, the manas is a silo of memory. This one thing I will subdivide for your understanding. We identify 8 different types of memories in the manas. This is called elemental memory, atomic memory, evolutionary memory, karmic memory, articulate memory, inarticulate memory, and conscious and unconscious levels of memory. When I say memory, we are not thinking about just what's in your head. Right now, there is more memory in every DNA that you carry or every cell in your body than your entire brain can carry. Because you may not remember how 10 generations ago your great-great-great-grandfather looked like, but his nose is sitting on your face right now. Your body remembers. Your body remembers 1,000,000 years ago how your forefathers looked, even the skin tone, it is not forgotten. So the amount of memory that the body carries is phenomenal. Memory is not just that dimension of memory that you can consciously access. There is memory. Memory is the thing which decides who you are right now. It is from this context you're talking about robots becoming just like you because you understand, after all, if you build substantial memory, they'll just become like you and me. Those of you who are thinking of a robotic partner in your life, a robotic wife or husband, it's a good idea because all the time the complaint in this relationship is your partner is not the way you want them to be. So you can manufacture them the way you want. You want them mild when you want them mild, you want them wild when you want them wild, you want them to be turned off when you want them to be turned off. This is a great idea. Yes and it may become a reality. If not very soon, in some time, Mr. Kaku is more qualified to make the prediction as to when So, essentially, anything that you can build from memory can be built. Anything that can be built by storage of memory and access to memory and analysis of this memory and expression of this memory, everything that you're doing through your intellect and thinking that is you, can be done by a machine at some point. I'm not the expert to predict when, but definitely it can be done, there's no question about that. But there's another dimension of intelligence within the human being, which we refer to as chitta. What chitta means is, this is a dimension of intelligence where there is not an iota of memory, it is unsullied by memory. What this means is, see, memory is what has made you everything that you are. You have a human form, this is evolutionary memory. You have variety of other memories, that's what makes you a certain kind of person, and so many other things that you are. Your professions, your capabilities, your knowledge, everything is because of memory. But memory is also a defining boundary. The moment you identify with your memory, you say, oh, this is my friend, this one I do not know, this is a person I like, this is a person I don't like, this is all memory. Memory fixes a definition and a defined boundary to your life. What is me and what is you is just a question of memory, that I know this is me and this is you. But there is a dimension of intelligence which we call as chitta, or in modern terminology, loosely, it can be called as consciousness. Not being conscious as you and me are, this is wakefulness, this is not consciousness. So, this dimension of intelligence has no memory in it. Where there is no memory, there are no boundaries to it. You will not do that with a robot. Do what you want. Because everything that can be done by memory will be done. Right now, 90% or more of humanity lives by their intellect and their physiological and intellectual capabilities. These things can be built at some point and make them look very real. So, once machines start doing this, it is inevitable for you to explore the deeper dimensions of who you are. Right now, this has happened in a significant way. In, let's say, 100 years ago, if we want to be strong, if we want to be successful, we thought the best thing was to build, maybe 500 years ago, let us say, if you want to be a big man in the place, in your town, you had to have big muscles. Whoever had the big muscles was the big man, strong man there. But now if you have big muscles, we will give you a menial job. We don't recognize you. One reason why women have an equal space or reasonably equal space on the planet today is because of technology, because the power of the muscle has been neutralized. How much brain power do you have, how much intellectual power you have is deciding things right now. But if intellectual power is again, as muscle power was taken by the machines, if intellectual power is taken by the machines, naturally human beings will dig deeper into their consciousness. A machine cannot dig deeper, but everything that you can do, a machine can do in future, and that'll be a great day because that means we are on a holiday. We don't work for a living. Now, we look at life in a completely different way, which will be very, very significant. In fact, for the first time, we will become human beings. We must understand why we are called human beings. That means we are the only creatures on the planet who know how to be. As you were saying, a bug knows how to survive better than you. Without a social atmosphere, many of you will not know how to survive. A bug knows how to survive far better than you, better equipped than you, because he's just focused on his survival. But a bug will not know how to be conscious. You can definitely build a bug. It's very interesting that today in the computer technologies we are using these words, that's a bug, it's a virus. Definitely. The dangers of this are also there, as the dangers of machines are there even today. For example, the automobiles are killing more people than wars. Every year after year, they're killing. But we have accepted that as collateral damage, it's part of the thing. We're traveling faster, so some people will die. We have come to terms with that. So similarly, maybe we'll have nano-soldiers, soldiers won't be human beings going and fighting. We sit here and let loose on other people. At one phase it will happen. These things will be terrible, but even now it's terrible. You can just press a switch here and destroy a whole city somewhere else. It is quite terrible even now. So, before such capabilities come, or as they're coming, there is no such thing as before and after. As these capabilities are coming, we must also strive to upgrade the human being to move beyond the limitations of their intellect and come to a deeper dimension of intelligence, which is life itself,
Как?
the very source of life itself within us.
Как, гуру, как? Потому что показывают
How can this be done? As practice shows, and we're talking about technologies of the future, no technology, no technological breakthroughs, no technological evolution is changing human nature. Latest iPhones will never change the fact that people, have been killing each other over a piece of land. They're still doing the same. They're killing each other over a piece of land. How can we ensure that? How can we resolve this issue? Because technological improvements are not improving human beings. Maybe because the memory, ancestral memory, is so strong in us that we still remember how our ancestors were fighting over a piece of bread. Maybe we'll continue doing the same because of the memory we have.
See, the thing is, if anything needs to happen, a certain amount of human energy, time and resource has to be dedicated to it. For example, somebody was telling me, in 1860, when certain survey was done in United States, some kind of observation, probably studying dead bodies and stuff like that, the skeletal systems and things, they said in 1860, nearly 60% of the people would start losing their teeth at the age of 40. And in 1860, nearly 97% of United States was illiterate. But today, people have their teeth intact even if they're 90. And today, 100% is literate. How does this happen? Simply because we invested in what is called as schoolrooms and teachers and toothbrushes and mothers. We invested. If we did not invest, even today we would be losing our teeth, even today we would be illiterate. So, we have to invest in consciousness. Till now, we've been investing only in our survival. But once the technologies that they're talking about starts becoming a reality, which is already becoming, survival will not even be an issue. When survival is not an issue, we will definitely start investing, but the sooner we invest, with less aberration, we can move into these new possibilities. As Dr. Kaku said, it's always a double-edged sword. Which way are you going to use it depends on who you are, isn't it? So whether your identity and your experience is very exclusive or your identity and experience is very inclusive, this will determine which shape and in which way the sword will swing.
Predicting the top technologies in the future can be speculative, but based on current trends and emerging developments, here are 5 areas that are likely to play significant roles. Artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning, ML. AI encompasses various subfields including machine learning, natural language processing, computer vision, and robotics. Machine learning algorithms can be categorized into supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning, each with its unique applications. Deep learning, a subset of machine learning, has gained prominence for its ability to learn complex patterns from large amounts of data. Neural networks, inspired by the structure of the human brain, are central to deep learning algorithms. Applications of AI and ML extend beyond consumer-facing products to industries such as manufacturing, finance detection, cybersecurity, and autonomous systems. Blockchain and cryptocurrency. Blockchain technology provides a decentralized and tamper-proof ledger where transactions are recorded in blocks that are linked together in a chronological chain. Consensus mechanisms such as proof of work used by Bitcoin and proof of stake used by Ethereum ensure the integrity and security of the network. Smart contracts, self-executing contracts with the term of the agreement directly written into code, enable automated transactions and eliminate the need for intermediaries. Beyond financial applications, blockchain is being explored for supply chain transparency, digital identity management, and decentralized finance platforms offering lending, borrowing, and trading services. Quantum computing. Quantum computers leverage quantum phenomena such as superposition and entanglement to perform calculations that would be infeasible for classical computers. Quantum bits can represent both 0 and 1 simultaneously, allowing quantum computers to explore multiple solutions to a problem simultaneously, significantly speeding up computations for certain tasks. Quantum supremacy, the milestone at which a quantum computer outperforms the most powerful classical supercomputer, has been demonstrated by several research groups. However, practical quantum computers capable of solving real-world problems are still in development. Potential applications of quantum computing include optimizing complex systems like logistics and supply chain, simulating quantum systems, and breaking cryptographic protocols. Internet of Things (IoT). The IoT system comprises a wide range of interconnected devices, including sensors, actuators, wearables, and embedded systems connected via wired or wireless networks. Edge computing, where data processing is performed closer to the source of data generation, reduces latency, conserves bandwidth, and enhances privacy and security. IoT applications span smart homes like connected appliances, security systems, smart cities like traffic management, environmental monitoring, industrial IoT like predictive maintenance, asset tracking, agriculture like precision farming, crop monitoring, and healthcare like remote patient monitoring, medical device connectivity. Biotechnology and genomics. Biotechnology encompasses a broad range of disciplines including genetic engineering, synthetic biology, bioinformatics, and biochemistry aimed at manipulating living organisms or their components to develop products and technologies. CRISPR Case 9, a revolutionary gene editing tool, enables precise modification of DNA sequences, offering potential treatments for genetic disorders, agricultural improvements, and advancements in biotechnology. Synthetic biology involves the design and construction of biological systems or components with novel functions, leading to applications such as engineered microbes for producing biofuels, pharmaceuticals, and sustainable materials. Genomics research, facilitated by high-throughput DNA sequencing technologies, enables the study of genetic variations, disease mechanisms, and evolutionary relationships, driving advancements in personalized medicine, agriculture, and conservation biology. These technologies represent just a glimpse of the transformative potential of innovation in the future. As research continues and new breakthroughs emerge, their impact on society, economy, and the environment will likely be profound, reshaping industries and shaping the way we live and work.